Yeah, hi there, Sarah. This is Michael. I just got your comments over at my course, and if I remember correctly, you gave me your specific situation about your current TOEFL score and then what score you wanted. So I recommended my 90-day TOEFL study guide to help you reach 100. And then you said, you mentioned I should practice listening 1 hour, reading for 1 hour. I think what I said is if possible, 4 hours a day, which means 1 hour reading, 1 hour listening, and then 2 hours at my online TOEFL course. So in your situation, you are one busy person. My goodness. So you're working 7 hours a day. You're taking a master's classes. You're going 3 times a week. That's enough right there to keep you busy. And now you're wanting to study TOEFL and improve your English. So that's going to be, I'm going to be honest with you, you might not be in the right position right now for TOEFL study. Sounds like your schedule is already pretty full because you have a lot of homework. Those master's classes are going to require a lot of writing, a lot of reading, a lot of work that you're doing there. So how can I manage my time? I would say it may take you longer to reach your goal because you're so busy. You may not simply have enough time to do what you need to do in the 90 days to get your TOEFL score up to where it needs to be. So my suggestion is, if possible, try to find ways to multitask. Multitask means do your coursework and TOEFL study perhaps at the same time. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say that you're doing a reading assignment for one of your master's classes. You're reading a chapter, right? So as you're reading the chapter, you take notes. You take notes of the main points of the chapter, right? Then when you're done using your notes, you practice writing a summary or you practice orally summarizing that information. Now, doing that obviously is going to help you learn the content necessary for that class you're taking, but also that's going to help you practice your integrated speaking and integrated writing areas. You see what I'm saying? So you can incorporate some of your reading practice you're doing right now, or your reading assignments. Try to incorporate that as part of your study also for TOEFL. But it's still important to do that, what I call pleasure reading, reading for enjoyment purposes, and reading either magazines, newspapers, and longer books. And reading for that 1 hour is actually very, very important. I was suggesting the 1 hour reading, the 1 hour listening. That's in addition to the 2 hours you should be spending in my online TOEFL course for the next 90 days. That was the recommendations that I was recommending for you. So how many hours a day? I would recommend to reach your goal. You got a pretty big goal here. To reach your goal, I was recommending about 4 hours each day, 2 hours TOEFL study, 1 hour reading, 1 hour listening. So you said 3 to 4 a day. You're saying 3 to 4 hours a day is enough? That's the question you're asking me. I would say yes, it is. But you got to ask yourself, how much can you take psychologically, Sarah? Because if you're studying 4 hours a day TOEFL and you're working 7 hours and you're doing your master's classes, that might be too much mentally for you. So you're the one ultimately who has to make a decision on how much you can take, how much can your brain take. So if you feel like it's just too much, you may have to ease a little bit and maybe take what I'm suggesting and turn it into maybe 180 day type plan. So maybe you're spending, instead of 4 hours a day, maybe 2 hours a day TOEFL, and then extend your time out, your study time out a little bit longer than 90 days, because it may be difficult to reach your goal based on your heavy work and school schedule. All right, Sarah, so that would be my comments right now. So be careful, because you don't want to burn out either. And let me give you an example. I had a friend of mine who is a distance runner like I am, And over the last few weeks, he's been doing some very, very heavy mileage each week. In fact, he's been running up to, let's say, 15 to 20 miles a day, which is probably a little bit too much. So he did that for several weeks in a row, and then his body and his mind, he just couldn't take it anymore. So he stopped running altogether for several days, which is he doesn't want to do that either. So my message for you is if you do too much, right? Let's say that you're trying to study TOEFL 4 hours a day. You're working for 7 hours a day. That's 11 hours total right there. And then you're going to school 3 times a week. At some point, it might be too much for you. And what do you think the first thing that is going to give is? You're not going to give up your job, and you're not going to stop going to school, am I right? What's going to happen is you'll stop studying TOEFL if you're doing too much. So be really careful on that. So you ultimately need to be the judge as to how much time you're able to spend studying TOEFL. And if 4 hours a day is simply too much, based on your schedule, then you may want to cut it down to 2 hours a day, even 1 hour a day, but that's probably not enough. But you see my message? Anyway, thank you very much, Sarah, and thank you for your comments. I would love to have you as a student, but be careful. If you're too busy right now, I don't recommend trying to prepare for the TOEFL. Wait, if possible, maybe wait until you're less busy, or maybe you can somehow rearrange your schedule where you can use some time each day to study TOEFL. All right, anyway, have a great day.